Christian Gonzalez, is he playing this week?
Oh, you son of a gun. I hate predicting injuries. My guess is if he plays, it's going to be on a limited basis. You know, like we hadn't practices July 28th until Wednesday. We got to see 4 periods of him on Wednesday and Thursday, and like he didn't do anything on Wednesday really. Ran in a straight line for a little bit in warm-ups. Thursday a little bit more activity. But again, like, is he in football shape? I would doubt that. So like, wouldn't it make sense to just sort of slowly break him in if he does play?
It makes a hell of a lot more sense.
Can you slowly break in against DK?
If you play zone, I think
well, you can play 12 to 15 plays or something.
I even worry about that, Mike. Not to interrupt your thing there, but I feel like even he can still get hurt in those 12 plays.
Yep.
It's about just going hard. Even one time could rip it. It's not about how many plays. It's about just being out there, asked to cover someone as fast as DK. And him, you know, even if he has a few amount of plays, I still feel like he is sensitive to maybe re-injuring that hamstring. That's just my take. But
well, I mean, look, if it was up to me, like if you're asking me what I would do, I would not. Like you got to show me your, like you can run and twist and turn and like you can deal with more than a few days to practice. But we'll see what they do.
Okay, Mike. The game plan last week is very, very different on offense from week 1 to week 2. I mean, the Pats were under center 53% of the time last week versus 22% versus Vegas. Just the air yards in week 2 were shorter than they were in week 1. He was excellent. Drake May was against the blitz in week 2. I thought the offense was just so different and obviously more effective. What do you anticipate from an offensive standpoint for this game and maybe moving forward based off of what you saw last week?
Yeah, I think the first thing was Josh McDaniels wanted to remind you, like, they have all that stuff in their bag. They just couldn't really necessarily do it because the game, in his words, kind of got away from him in week 1 against Vegas. But I mean, look, repeat it until someone adjusts to it and takes it away from you. They clearly were more comfortable running the offense the way they did, getting Drake out, on the boot actions, deliberate boot action plays that, cuts the field in half for him. So when we talk about taking stuff off his plate, well, that's kind of an example of taking stuff off his plate, right? Like, I know that was a big debate, but like, to me, hey, now you only got to read high-low, or maybe you're flooding the area, so you got 3 receivers. But if you don't see it right away, you can use your athleticism. He looked like an athlete, which he didn't really look like an athlete in the first game. And we know he's a good athlete. So, like, I thought all those things were good signs, and those are the things that you want to feed. Steelers can't stop the run. 100-plus yard rusher in the Jets game, Breece Hall. Kenneth Walker went over 100 yards in this past game, averaged 8.1 yards a carry. So, like, again, it's a good chance for them to be sort of that balanced offense that they were, where you're not putting Drake in situations where he's got to throw 35, 40 times.
So, Mike, what would you say was your favorite thing you saw the Patriots do in week 2 that they didn't do in week 1?
I did like the idea of getting Drake out in the boot action stuff. I thought that was, and I think we have this debate all the time, right? And the football nerds will tell you that you play doesn't you're not playing the ball well. I always feel like that's a little bit, whatever. Like, when you start to run the ball and consistently stick with it, I think that makes that action so much better. So, sort of all part of the package of, like, that was really, and not like he's good at right now.
Mike, on the defensive side of the ball, Robert Spillane, these tackling issues. For some reason, they've really annoyed me, and I'm seeing all these numbers. He's the only guy in the NFL with like a more than 50% missed tackle rate. He's a guy that Ted and Fitzy had told me was going to lead the NFL with 175 tackles. He has 6 in 2 games. Concerning? Is this just a guy that's finding his footing in a new defense? What are your thoughts on these tackling issues?
I feel like they're asking him to do a little bit too much, and look, like it's an awful defensive call on the Achane touchdown where you've got him covering Achane in space, man to man. Like, come on, like there's
double team
safeties
him,
have a hard time doing that, right? Yeah. Safeties have a hard time doing that. You're going to put him in that spot. So they put a lot on his plate, and I think he might just be thinking through some of it a little bit. I don't expect this to continue. Like, I mean, I don't know about 175 tackles, but like he was in the middle of everything this summer, and I think he'll be in the middle of it again, and he'll stop missing the tackle. Too good of it.
Hey, Mike, I don't know where you are, but your phone kind of comes in and out. So maybe if you could walk to a better spot, that would probably help us out here. But let me ask you about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, it just, had a good game, I guess, week one, but last week not so good. I mean, you see he's last in the NFL in average yards per attempt at 5.3. They're not that good on offense, 36% on third down rate. What are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and this Steelers team coming in? Do you think they match up against the Patriots? Do you think the Patriots have a chance against a team that feels like they're kind of still trying to find themselves?
Yeah, I think it's a great way to put it, Ted, that they're trying to find themselves. Like you saw in week one, 2 balls on slants to DK Metcalf behind him. So what happens in week two? 2 balls in front of them. Like they didn't play together a ton. They certainly didn't get any preseason action together. And I think they're still kind of figuring that out. They're not running the ball well. So that's putting too much on Rodgers' plate at 40, whatever years old he is. He's still good outside the pocket. Like I think he's still really good outside the pocket. So you're probably going to want to try to keep him in the pocket because he feels like since the Achilles injury, he doesn't like to stay there for very long. He's not that comfortable. So that would be part of the plan. But like, look, if they're going to run for 3 yards a clip, which is what they ran last week, like that's a great spot for you.
Yeah, Mike, it feels like the Steelers have been getting by on reputation for a long time. Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season as a head coach. That's great, but they also haven't won a playoff game in almost a decade. They haven't won in Gillette Stadium since 2008. And Steelers fans, by and large, are now getting very testy, if not frustrated, with the organization as well. What do people take the same view of the Steelers? Like, is the big bad Steelers coming to town, or is it like this is an organization that is like one bad season away from kind of just going in complete turnaround?
Well, they did something that they've never really done, right? They went kind of all in. The signing of Rodgers, the trading of Metcalf, giving him the massive contract. That's sort of not how the Steelers have operated, especially on that side of the ball. And so, it's going to take a little time to come together. I think the big disappointment for them is they were telling everybody, players on the team, people that are covering the team, that this defense was the top 5 defense. And through 2 weeks, they've given up 63 points, which I think is the most in the first 2 games of a Tomlin tenure. And I don't know how soon they are to turning that around. It doesn't look like Porter's going to play this weekend. No Highsmith. They've got lots of holes, and right now they don't seem capable of fixing them.
Mike, we'll get you out on this. I put up a poll today asking Patriots fans which of the 3 units they had the most faith in right now, 2 weeks into the season, offense, defense, special teams. A resounding 76% say the offense, which kind of surprised me.
You asked that 2 weeks ago, it would be flipped.
Opposite, yeah. And it stunned me. So, A, do you agree with that? What would you vote for? Which of the 3 units do you have the most faith in? And do you have faith the Patriots will get the win on Sunday?
That is a good question. If the kicker was more consistent, I would say special teams.
If my aunt had balls.
I know, but he's missing extra points in the landing zone, which, good God, how can you miss the landing zone? It's huge. I guess I would say offense. And I don't say that with a ton of confidence because I think Miami's defense is wretched, and you weren't very good offensively in week one. You were for pockets of it. But, yeah, I mean, defensively, you're not there yet. Maybe when Gonzalez comes back full go, you could be what we thought you might be. But for now, I guess I would say offense. But, I don't say that with a ton of confidence.
And are they going to win?
Yes.
Nah.
You didn't say that with a ton of confidence either.
Well, you didn't like the question mark at the end of that?
I'm Mike Giardi. They're going to win.
Exactly.
All right, we'll hold you to that, and we'll talk to you next week. We'll see if you were right or wrong. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.